give Kevin Durant huge credit for making that shot and ripping the heart out of the Cavaliers. Big, big shot. But here is why it's overblown about how Kevin Durant, this great closer, and LeBron didn't last night. It's because Kevin Durant didn't have to do anything in the third quarter. In the third quarter, he was scoreless. And so guess what happens? If LeBron is scoreless in the third quarter, the Cavaliers are down by 20. If Kevin Durant is scoreless in the third quarter, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, the rest of those guys keep that squad afloat. And then Kevin Durant can come in and knock down that shot. Now, Durant is going to end up being the NBA Finals MVP, and deservedly so. He's had a tremendous finals. But when Paul Pierce says that Kevin Durant, because of this series, is now the greatest player on earth, it's wrong. Because Kevin Durant has so much firepower around him that he can just step in and hit one shot and be the closer there. I mean, that team is so deep. That team is so good. They're just a better squad all around than everybody else in the NBA, and it's not even close. It's not even close. And last night, the Cavaliers had to be perfect. And they weren't. They were really good. And LeBron finally got a tremendous secondary effort from Kyrie. But they weren't perfect, and you'd have to be perfect. The problem is, even the Cavaliers, who are one of the three best teams in the NBA, maybe the second best team in the NBA, have to be perfect to even win a game. And you can't ask the second best team in the league to be perfect 4 times when the Warriors don't really have to be perfect. They just have so many ways to bail themselves out. Here's the thing. Golden State's obviously a talented team. They also execute better in terms of passing and closeout defense and smarter play. And you saw this last night because defensively, they were a little crisper. Cleveland left some shooters open. The Cavaliers did not give any hard fouls underneath, which I thought they had to do to kind of knock a little bit of the rhythm out of the Warriors. The Cavs would have to hit every outside shot. They'd have to get every offensive rebound. They could not turn the ball over. And I would say that for most of the game, they were a B plus, A minus. They were never an A plus, but especially down the stretch, they weren't an A plus. And so it would take an A plus effort plus 2 monumental games from Kyrie and LeBron just to get one game by the hairs of their chinny chin over the Warriors. And that's just going to be virtually impossible or impossible for anybody else in the NBA. I mean, if the Cavaliers with that effort can't do it at home, having a 5 to 7 point lead in the fourth quarter, who is going to do it? And when you heard Adam Silver at halftime, he was on the defensive because Michelle Beadle asked him some good questions about, is this the inevitable NBA Finals? And how do you beat the Warriors now that they have Kevin Durant? And Silver talked about this and that, and you're suggesting talent is static, and we'll have more talent, and talent can move around, and all of this type of stuff. But basically, you could hear the resignation in his voice. And it was, I've got to fend off the Wolves, because if the rest of the NBA feels that even Cleveland's best shot can't beat the Warriors once, there's going to be a lot of tanking. There's going to be a lot of waiting. There's going to be a lot of rebuilds that take 3, 4, 5 years because teams are going to go, why are we going to pay a lot of money to win 50 games and then get smoked? And so you then would have a bunch of fan bases that go, what are we even playing for here? The right to get smoked in the NBA Finals? And then you would have fans and media and teams going, what are we all watching? Why would you watch? On a Thursday night in January, would you watch Rockets Spurs? Maybe if you had nothing else to do. But if you knew that those teams, no matter how well they played, are still that much worse, even on their best day, than the Warriors, an inevitable is not good for the league. And that's what you have here. The Warriors are so good, and all credit to them for being this good. But you're going to have to bat off the Wolves here from coming for the league and saying, don't bother. Don't bother playing. Don't bother competing. Don't bother investing. Don't bother rebuilding. Don't bother. Don't bother watching. Don't bother covering. Don't bother. And that's not a good situation to be in for this NBA, and you could hear it in Silver's voice. He is going to have to defend this league from here on out because this series right now is over.